it is Sunday morning, and as you can see, I am like really, really sick still. It's like my full physical body doesn't feel really sick, but like my throat, my nose does. But I've got to eat something, so we're going to go eat some brunch here. Kind of pull it together, and then maybe come back and take a nap this afternoon. I have, though, been drinking this apple cider vinegar, like a shot every day, because somebody told me to do that. So, how are you guys doing? Are you ready for spring? Did you see that moon the other night? It was so pretty, wasn't it? Okay. You guys, this cold is killing me. I'm dying. I'm not dying. I should be grateful that this is as bad as it got, but I've been drinking all of these like vitamin C things as emergency things and all kinds of stuff. I got a very interesting email today from somebody. I don't know if they're a psychic or what, but like when I had said that there was something in my basement that was worth quite a bit. I don't think it's somebody playing with me, but it was interesting how maybe like on point they were about what they said when I started thinking about it. Don't really feel like going and scavenging in the basement today, but I'm going to this week. I did 2 videos today, even though I don't feel well, because I don't want to stop. Like, you know, like I don't want a day to go by where I know everybody's like, well, just take a break and don't make videos for a day. And it's like, I know, but I love it so much. You know, it's like, I still read and stuff. Speaking of, I'm on my way to the bookstore right now, and then I'm going to go, when I'm sick, here, you guys want to know the truth, like, since this is the vlog, do you guys have husbands that are like, if you're sick, they're like, oh, well, what do you need? Do you need me to go buy you a magazine and orange juice? Do you want me to make you some hot tea and I'll bring it to bed? Not my husband. Not my husband. He's like, I'm sorry you're sick. That's about as good as it gets. So I was like uploading these videos, and he was watching TV and catching up on his TV shows, and I'm like, you can obviously tell how sick I am, right? And I'm like, he's like, oh, I really want some treats while I'm watching TV. Like, I have popcorn, but I really wanted something sugary. Hint, if you're going out, would you please get me something? So I wasn't going to. I was actually going to lay down and take a nap, but I only ate half of my turkey sandwich when we went to brunch, which was actually kind of good for me to get out of the house, I think, a little bit. And so I just was finishing my other half of this turkey sandwich, huge chunks of turkey in the sandwich, and cream cheese and stuff. And I was like, you know, I think like I need to eat another like healthy meal like that, like some soup, because I had soup at lunch too, tomato artichoke, you know, or like maybe get a salad or make a salad or something like that. And then I'm going to take a nap. And so I was like, well, I'm going to go to the grocery store. I'm going to go to the bookstore really quick, because I just get cabin fever really quick. You guys know I'm at home all the time anyway. So he was like, okay. I was like, do you want me to bring you anything? He's like, could you bring me those vanilla Oreos and some Swiss rolls? Before I get to the grocery store, I bet you I get texted and some pizza rolls. Although the other day, this is really not very funny, but he would laugh at me if it happened to me. Alex was making pizza rolls, and he pulled the thing out really quick, and like two pizza rolls, like, or what? I don't know if it was I don't think it was. The scar looks bad. It's like, okay, so anyway, he burnt his foot. It's blistering and it's scarred. But I don't know if it was the cookie sheet or if it was the pizza roll. I thought it was just the pizza roll, which he calls pizza nuggets, which cracked me up. I hate being sick, but when we were at Cafe Patashu today, which is like hands down one of my favorite restaurants, we were sitting there, and in the middle of it was this guy that was like very good looking, probably early 30s. In case you're looking for a husband, he was there. Missed connections. I was gonna say obviously straight, but I don't know. Like, he might not have been. Cute guy, blondish brown hair, and it was kind of like shaved on the sides and kind of went down and up. And he was real tall, and he had him like, he just was like talking to everybody, and he was like kind of like just really looked like approachable. Like, I love people that seem approachable like that, you know. and he was eating by himself. And if you've ever been to Cafe Patachou, which most of you haven't, but it's like this like very kind of like to be seen brunch place in the middle of Indianapolis. There's like 4 of them. This one that we go to is always packed. There's always like a 40-minute wait. And he is legit sitting in the middle of this place, okay, eating a waffle, drinking coffee, and reading a book, all to himself. I was like, that is who I want to be. Do you ever see people that like you want to be? I was like, I want to be that person and not give a shit and just sit up. Like, I go to a lot of restaurants by myself and read, but I would never sit up in the middle of Cafe Patachou and read. And I don't know why. Like, I don't know what the difference is. He was so happy, a smile on his face. He kept on getting up and going and getting coffee. You like serve yourself coffee there. He kept on going and getting coffee and sitting back down and reading this book. So of course, I was dying to know what book he reads, right? So I like go over and I'm like, and he was like, he like held it up and smiled at me like, oh, here it is, you know. I think like bookish people know that. And he was reading Neil Gaiman's Stardust, which then I looked up on Goodreads. And so now I want to go and read this book because I love Neil Gaiman. And I've never heard of this book. It came out in 2006. That's how you sell books. You have people sit in the middle of a Cafe Patachou on a Sunday reading a book, and then you want to read that book, right? I mean, really, honestly, because it's like, do you ever see somebody and you like want to be that person? Like you see them sitting there. I want this house so bad right here. Alex would never. 5 bedrooms. It's so cute. This neighborhood that I'm in right now is like older and they're redoing all these houses. And like they have huge yards, mature trees. I love it through here. It's beautiful. This is kind of, I mean, I didn't grow up around here, but this is, my aunt and uncle lived over here when I was growing up, and so I spent a lot of time over here. But I used to think that John Green, the author, lived over here until I found out where he really lived. Was I wrong? Anyway, I'm like hoping I wake up tomorrow and I feel 100% better. The really weird thing is that like my throat hurts and my nose is running, but like physically, other than that, I feel like pretty good, you know? Like I don't feel like lethargic and tired and all that kind of stuff. I do have a headache though. That just came though. I don't know why. That may have just been because I didn't get very much sleep last night. I had something I was supposed to get up for this morning, and I ended up waking up and feeling like shit, and I was just like, I'm not going. And so my alarm kept on going off. Finally, Alex was like, are you going to turn that alarm off? You're not going. And I was like, oh shit, because I had, you know, snoozed it every 8 to 12 minutes or whatever it was. That house is cute too. But anyway. All right, well, I'm gonna go to the bookstore. Do you ever feel like you have no business being out in public? Okay, so I went to the bookstore. That was fine. I didn't buy anything, so I was like, why am I buying more books when I can't even finish the books that I'm reading right now? But I found some books that I want. I always find books I want. But then I go to the grocery store, and I felt like maybe it's just because like the inner bitch in me is totally wanting to come out today because I don't feel well. But I try to be so nice and like smile at people because I already know like I don't feel well and I just want to get home and get into bed. And like, you know, I was like, oh, sorry, excuse me. Like nobody was friendly in the grocery store tonight. I mean, I don't know like what the deal was. If it was like 8 o'clock on a Sunday night at the grocery store, excuse me, is like not the place to go. But there were some rude ass people in there tonight. I usually don't find that. Like, I made a commitment about 1.5 years ago. I've actually talked about this in a video, that I was going to start smiling at everybody that I met, because you never know what somebody, like, what their condition of their day has been like. And I said when I did the video a long time ago, I did do that video, and I said that I was surprised by how many people don't smile back. But the really cool thing is that every once in a while you'll catch somebody and they're like, oh, he's smiling at me. Like, there's a difference between just smiling and intentionally smiling, I think, you know? And, but it's interesting when you, like, walk through life, like, what you show on your face really, I think, picks up for other people. Like, I know I've talked about this in my videos before, but, like, I remember Toni Morrison years ago on Oprah, they were talking about, like, raising children, and that, you know, like, when a child walks in the room, they look, does your face light up? Because typically as adults, like when a child walks in the room, we're looking like your hair isn't combed, did you brush your teeth, your shoes aren't tied. You know, we're always looking to criticize. And I think like even with me, and my mother was amazing, but like I would sometimes come down, you know, from school for high school, and she'd be like, are you really going to wear that? Like, you know, and like those are the things I remember. I had this boyfriend that I dated way back in the day. And I was probably at the time, I'm about 5'10 and a half, 5'11. I was probably about 145, 150, which is almost emaciated for that height. For 5'11, 5'10 and a half, 5'11. I was like 140, 145, I think. And what I know now is that it was an emotionally abusive relationship, but he was always criticizing my body. And he would say things like, I can remember this one time we were in a mall and we were going down the escalator and I was in front of he and his friend and they started laughing. And I turned around and I said, what are you guys laughing about? And they were like, oh, how bottom heavy you are. 140 pounds bottom heavy. I still hear that in my head today, you know? And so like, I think like not just with children, but like when somebody walks in a room, does your face light up? You know, what do you meet that person with when you see them? And I think that's really, really important, you know, like every person I've ever been in a relationship with, like Alex even does this. Like when I walk in the room, if they're watching TV, they pause it, like I'm interrupting them. My ex did this, my ex before him did this, my dad did it. I mean, every person, maybe it's a man thing, I don't know. I don't do it. But like when they walk in, they're like watching TV and like I'll come in, oh, hey, and the dogs are like I'm interrupting the most serious show in the entire world, you know? When you walk into a room, do their eyes light up? You know, that's a question to ask, I think. Speaking of which, if you watch oh my God, okay, so I was just thinking about this because there's this house right here that like they never mow their lawn, they never do anything to it, and for years and years and years I always thought I would use it as like that house, I would use it as like, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, the place, the cast, what's the location? The location, that's not right, of a book that I was going to write about a girl that is like 17 or 18 and she goes missing. It's called Trash. Do you remember I talked about that on here? Okay, so anyway, but right close to where I live, like 3 blocks from where I live, oh my God, I forgot Melissa had told me this, that like I looked it up last night, in 1996, these 2 teenage boys, one was 15 and one was 17, they were like, one of them was, so it was a minister and his wife, and they went in to rob them on like 2 days before Christmas or something, and the minister and his wife came home, and so these 2 boys killed them, and they axed them in their heads, and they left the axe in the minister's head, and then the cat was even dead right next to them. So that house is supposedly haunted too. I don't know if that's true, but it's literally right now, it's like 2 minutes from where I'm at that way. Like, that is spooky. I looked it up last night to see if it was true, and they said it was. You guys are like, your mind is all over the place. I think Alex is getting a little disturbed that I'm so into the serial killer thing right now. But I am. And everybody was like, you should have gone into the driveway and you should have gone up to the house and whatever. Like, it's privately owned, okay? Like, somebody said in my video, they were like, you can like rent horses there and stuff. No, I mean, Melissa and I pulled up. There was like, there's a sign on the gate that says privately owned property, do not trespass. Like, you can't just like drive in. It's not like a working farm. Trust me, if I would have, she would have made me. Or if we could have, she would have made me. Did I tell you already that I found Le Peep Oreos? Oh my God, so. And then I got Alex Swiss rolls and regular Oreos. These Oreos really don't taste a whole lot different. I mean, they're like pink in the middle, you see? Beep! But they don't really taste so much like Peeps to me. I love Oreos so much. When I was younger, I used to take off the top and lick them. Did you guys do that? Did you ever eat the candy? I always thought it was such a waste. What's it called? Somebody will know. Where you take that, you get that sugar stick, and then you dip it in the packet of sugar. It's called like sticking something. Remember, it came in like a long white thing. What was that called? Stick and lick or something? Oh well. I am ready to be home. I can tell that my throat is like really sore. I can tell that my throat is really sore. That made no sense. I can tell that my throat is like swollen. So anyway, I'm gonna go home and eat part of my, I got a chicken salad sandwich too. I'm gonna eat part of that and then I'm gonna take a nap. So I will see you guys later. Hello, it's about that time. I've been driving around and I'm so ready to go home. And I have half of a chicken salad sandwich and chips, a little bit of orange juice, and those Peep Oreos. I want to finish them. I ate them while Alex was watching a TV show, and then I laid down for 2 hours with Boo Radley. Boo Radley, like, spends all his time in his house. Well, Tucker and Pee-Pee just lay on the ottoman with Alex and watch TV. So when I've been taking naps, I've been going down and getting Boo Radley and bringing him upstairs and making him take a nap with me, and he loves it. He curls right against my back. He's so sweet. But I'm kind of spooked right now, honestly. I was talking to my friend about, on the phone, we were telling like paranormal stories and my kind of like psychic stuff that's happened, and he was like, you've had like a lot of stuff happen. I'm like, I'm telling you, like, I'm surrounded by it all the time. And I was reading comments, and I don't know what video it is. I'll have to go in and look at the comment. But somebody was talking about the video where I'm like, I think it's where I'm I think it's on the vlog, and I'm opening P.O. Box stuff, and I'm like, it's really weird because I'm like, can see it like out of the corner of my eye right now too. And I said something in the video about like I could catch something out of the corner of my eye, and somebody commented and said that they saw like around Pee-Pee's pictures like these orbs, and so if you see something right now, I'm kind of like seeing weird shadows in here. I don't know, but I don't want to think that because I love to drive around in my car. But anyway. But I've kind of been spooked tonight talking about that stuff, which means I need to turn on some Roseanne or something before I go to bed so I can be settled down. Alex plays like no interest into this kind of stuff whatsoever. Like, he's so not fun to talk to about it. But like, I like getting scared about it until it's like very real for me. And I have to tell you something that's really weird. So like, okay, I was talking to my friend, and my friend's like, why aren't you telling all these stories as story times, like on your channel, like on your main channel? Like, people would love to hear these story times. Would you guys like to hear those story times of like my going to psychics, and I have like an alien story? I have like lots of stories, I really do. And so I'm thinking about maybe doing some paranormal stories over there, or conspiracy stories like Coast to Coast Radio, which I don't listen to as much anymore because it spooks me out. I think it's called Coast to Coast AM. Somebody corrected me about it, but anyway, I listened to it for years. I call it Coast to Coast Radio with George Norrie. But anyway, I was getting so spooked. Like, it was like a fun conversation because it reminded me of like being in high school and telling like ghost stories and stuff, but I like really believe in that stuff, like firmly believe in it. And so like, and I've had so many things happen to me that I can't like ignore it. So it freaks me to talk about it because then I feel like it's real. But let me just tell you what I was thinking about was, I was telling my friend, you know, like my obsession with like this whole, like, I may have talked about this earlier, this Herb Baumeister case. Well, what's really weird is that when Melissa and I pulled into the driveway. If you go back and watch that vlog, she and I have two very different reactions to it. Like, I'm kind of playing it off being funny, but Melissa's like very jokey about it. Look at me locking my door. Melissa's very, very like jokey about the whole thing. And if you watch, like I said to her something to the effect of, I can't believe that so many men, like their lives ended right here, like on this driveway. This is like the last drive they ever took. And I was just overwhelmed with sadness. And I have kind of a weird story about that, which I'll tell in a second. But I was like, what are those orange dots behind me? But they were like cars on the interstate. But anyway, and then, you guys, like that night, I got so sick, and I've been sick since then. That's when I got sick, was after that. Like, I felt so, like, just that rest of that day, I just felt so overwhelmingly sad, and, like, just, like, And then I woke up the next day, and I was, like, in the middle of the night, and I was, like, so sick. Which I think is really interesting, don't you? That, like, I don't know. That's when I, like, I never recorded after that night. I went out to dinner with Tanya because I felt so bad. And that was the day that we went out there. And I'm like, why would I get sick from that? So if you guys know anything about that, like, but anyway, like as if it was almost too toxic to me. You guys are like, this whole vlog, Peter, has taken a total change from a weird direction. But this will end up being Peter's psychic vlog. No, it won't be. I don't even remember what I vlogged about earlier today, honestly. So, if you guys are race car fans, you'll know what I'm talking about. I'm not a race car fan. But, like, several years ago, I think it was on race day. So I live in Indianapolis. Indianapolis 500 is here. Everybody knows that. Probably. It's like what Indianapolis is known for. And the Indy 500 is like this huge weekend. Well, I don't think it was, maybe it was the race. I don't remember, but it was, because it was a Sunday. So it would have been the race, I think. But anyway, I woke up at like, I don't know, like 8 something. I don't remember what the time was, so I'm not gonna make it up. But it was like 8:32 in the morning or whatever. Because I remember I reached over and I picked up my phone and I was like immediately just lost it and started crying. And this is where they talk about people being empaths, that like you have this, you strongly feel the feelings of others, and like, which would also make sense that I've been a counselor, you know, for the majority of my life. And I get very sad with my clients in the past, like, I was just thinking, like, one of the things that I would get in trouble about at where I worked, the facility, was that, like, I would have kids in my group, and I would tell them things, like, such and such, this thing. Like, this one time, I kept on feeling this with this kid, and I said, can I ask you a strange question? And he said, yeah, what? And I said, I feel like you had, like, a skateboarding accident or something, like, where you hit sand and then you like cut your chin. And he went like that, and he had a scar right here. He goes, how did you know that? He was like, that happened when I was like 10 years old. I've had so many weird situations like that with like people that I've been around. I had this girl as a client. This was actually when my supervisor called me into her office, and she said, I don't know what's going on with you, but I'm going to ask that you don't tell our patients stuff anymore. She said that to me. We had a girl, and I told her, I said, I see you like in the back seat of this yellow car, and like you didn't feel safe and whatever. And I said, it's like this yellow, like old car, like, but there really aren't any seats. Like I said to her, I go, like a Pinto, but you wouldn't know what that is because you're too young. And she went like that, and she started like crying. And she had been with her friends, and she was in the back seat, and they were driving really fast, and they were drunk, and it was a yellow Pinto, true story. And so she said, let me out, and they let her out on the side of the road, and they were really shitty with her, and like literally 5 minutes later, they swerved around the curve and like went off the road and got killed. And so like she said something to one of the other counselors, who of course said something to my supervisor, and then I wasn't allowed to say it. I mean, I did that a lot with people. And So basically I was giving free readings. I should never have done that, but I mean, not free, but I should never have spooked people out that way. I just have very strong feelings about things, and they're usually like right on. Like, it's almost like looking at like a picture for me. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, I see it as a picture, or like a clip of a movie. Usually I don't hear any sound or anything. But anyway, was that the story I was going to tell? I was going to tell you guys something creepy. Do you guys even want to hear it? You're like, probably no. Like, this is when you guys turn it off and say, you're creeping me out. Don't tell me anything creepy. I was telling the Rabameister story, and I said I was going to tell you something creepy that had happened. I've just had like all kinds of weird things like that happen to me in my life. I don't know. Like, I really probably should hone in on this. Then I could have a reality show called Peter's Paranormal Abilities or whatever. I did watch that Ghost Adventures though, when they went to Fox Hollow Farms, and I have to say, like, I was not real impressed with their psychic abilities. I've like watched other things that have that EVP, that like ghost sound box or spirit box or whatever, when the spirits talk through there. And it was so funny, like, when I watched it, because they were like, did you hear what he just said? He said, I'm here. And it would be like, I'm here. And it was like, I thought it sounded like Kermit or something. And they were like, I'm here. And they'd be like, he's saying I'm here. And I'm like, that's not what I hear him saying. Okay, that's what you want to think he's saying, I guess. I'm like a psychic skeptic. Like, I'm a psychic, but I'm skeptic. No, I don't know. I'm totally joking. I don't know. All I know is that I get weird feelings about things. Melissa and her husband owned a business, and I really knew nothing about the goings-on of what was going on, except for that they were trying to sell it. And I called her one day and I said, okay, this is what's going to happen. This is what you need to do. She literally called me the very next day. She was like, I don't know how you knew that. She was like, I mean, literally, like, I guessed it within like numbers. And she was like, I don't know how you knew that. She was like, but you were spot on. I'm always like that with stuff. Like Alex's aunt. I told the story about the car. I just wish I could like get people that would like let me try it on them and not believe that I was like this fake phony making it up, that really believed in it. I was talking to my friend too about energy, and I was explaining that like with karmic energy, like I'm not a big believer in karmic energy. I will tell you what I believe. I do believe a lot in energy, positive and negative energy, just in the universe. And I believe that like, if you surround yourself with a lot of really positive people and you wake up and you try to be positive, chances are you will have positive outcomes in your life. Almost kind of like The Secret to some degree, which I don't necessarily believe in the book by Rhonda Byrne, The Secret, but I do believe in the power of attraction. And I do believe that if you visualize things and you think things, that they will happen for you. I actually think that like a lot of famous people that are accused of like the Illuminati and things like that, I don't think it's that deep. I believe that they are people of very strong confidence that believe that they can achieve a lot and good things happen to them because they believe that they can achieve a lot, and they're actually at their core pretty good people. Like, I really do believe that. I also think that's why like you see a lot of people of very strong faith, no matter what their religious or spiritual beliefs are, do very well in things, because I think that it works for them in their life no matter what, whether it's positive affirmation or it's true belief or whatever it is. I'm a believer that there's like spirit working around. I mean, you don't have to believe this. It's like, you know, please don't be offended by my beliefs. I'm just telling you what I believe based on my life experience. But I do believe that spirit is very active in our lives around us, leading us to things, giving us hints about things. You know, it's like, I wanted to make this video on my main channel. I like ran it by Alex, and I don't even know why I really did, to be honest with you. he was actually very sweet to me at the end of the night. It was so funny. I felt bad actually saying earlier on my vlog that he was like kind of a shit to me when I was sick, because he turned around and he was just really sweet to me. Wouldn't kiss me because he was afraid I was going to get him sick, but I wouldn't want to get sick either. He's like, I work too much, I can't be sick. I'm like, okay. But he was very sweet. You know, like, I ran this idea by him, and I have, like, always just, like, whenever I go with my gut response to things, I'm always right. Like, and I knew I should make this video, and I didn't make the video, and guess what? Somebody turned around and made the video, and I'm not going to talk about what it is, because it doesn't matter, but and did very, very well off of it. Alex was like, don't make the video. But I've been like that with, like, everything in my life. And it was weird because my old supervisor that didn't believe in any of this gut shit, anything like that, but she was a religious woman, she used to refer to me, and this was more of a business term for her, but she would say, you're my visionary. She'd say, you always see, like, what we should do, like, ahead of time. And there were several businesses within our, like, organization that I told her, like, I was like, you really should do this. Like, I see this as our future. And I would just have gut feelings about it, you know, and then she would do it and take it and run, and it would be like... So I think that the whole key to life and being successful and being happy is learning how to really, like, tap into that, if that makes sense, you know? It's like, and I don't have that mastered. I wish I did. Like, I wish I could figure it out, but I feel like my life is very, very cluttered. It's like when you finally figure out, like... Did you ever, like, clean out your bathroom and, like, you're like, this goes here and this goes there and this goes there, and then finally you're like, okay, now this works. Like, I know how this works. Or, like, your clothes closet, or, like, your jewelry drawer. God, my jewelry is a mess. Alex and I have so much jewelry. But, like, when you finally figure out, like, the bracelets go here and, like, everything seems to work, and then you're like, cling, and it's like, I'll tell you exactly what it's like. It's like those magic eye pictures. Do you guys, you know what I'm talking about? Where you sit there and you stare at it forever, you stare at it forever, and then all of a sudden you're like, there it is. Or like, is it the ugly lady or the pretty girl? Did you guys ever see that picture when you're like in elementary school? I think life is totally like that. It's like you look at it, and all of a sudden it's just like, boom, there it is. It's like being able to click and get that, and like right away, so that every magic eye picture you look at, you see right away. Well, I think that people that are very, very successful in life are ones that have tapped into that and know how to just keep the method working. I don't necessarily know that. Like, I still feel like I'm looking at the magic eye picture going, a dinosaur? A horse? But does that make sense? Like, I feel like they just, in every situation, they know how to, like, tap right into how to be successful right away. And I think the key is learning what works for you, because I think it's different for every person. Learning what works for you, and then using that in your life to be successful. I don't know how this went from ghosts and spirits and aliens to this, but I don't even know if what I'm saying is making sense. But I'll say this. My lips have been so chapped lately because of being sick, and this lip gloss, cotton candy lip gloss, actually works better than anything else. On a little side note. But what I mean is, like when I wrote my book, I haven't talked a lot about this on here, but like I wrote my book in 4 weeks, okay? 3.5. And I, like, the first 2 nights that I wrote it, like, I knew exactly what I was doing. I outlined it how I wanted it to do, and then it grew organically from my outline. And I have kind of a very weird story that, like, the main character of my book, Danny, kind of came to life in my head. Like, almost I would even drive around and feel like I was having conversations with him in my head. It was very bizarre. And it's just my method of how I worked. And, but, like, I really think, like, had I... So after that worked so well for me in writing a book really quick. Like, I don't think I'll ever be somebody that writes a book over 2 years. Like, when I sit there and I say I go into my office and I write, like, I bump shit out, right? But then I don't write for 3 or 4 days. I go in and, like, read it. I've gotten very lazy with writing. I think I'm the person that will always, like, write a book, like, very, very quickly. Had I been smart, because after I wrote the book and then, like, went through the process of editing which there are still so many grammatical errors in that book because it was the first one and it was kind of a guinea pig for my publishing company. But now she has like hired editors out the ass, like 10 of them and stuff, so that will never happen again. But like I know what works for me and what doesn't. If I had taken that formula and just turned around and written my next book and then my next one, I'd have like 8 books out right now. But I think what I did was I just stopped. You know, like, do you ever do that? Like, do you ever like, it works and it's like, okay, like sports teams are this way, right? Like, once you get a formula, like, you probably should continue that formula. Like on my main channel, like when I was doing all the drama and like reporting on the drama channels and the beauty, whatever, like I should have just kept on going and elevated that to like, you know, Onision and like, you know, Pastor Chapatis to like Gigi Gorgeous and like, you know, all of these people out there that people watch. I should have just kept it going to Hannah Hart and Tyler Oakley and Kingsley and, you know, all of these people. But like I stopped and like I started questioning myself. And that's really when my channel, it really, I think looking back, didn't have a lot to do with other people. It had to do with me and my second guessing my channel and me second guessing like what I was doing. And then people didn't understand really what I was doing and they got very confused by it. So I think in a way we're our own worst enemies, you know? I think when we like really tap into what works for us, whatever we do, whether that's cleaning the house or, you know, washing dishes, like, you know, like soaping and rinsing or putting in the dishwasher or whatever. I mean, whatever your thing is, you know, whatever works for you, when you figure out a way that works and it's successful, it's like with athletic teams. It's like when you have a state championship and you win the state championship and it's just like the most perfect game and everybody's on point and everybody's playing football the way they're supposed to. And I don't know shit about football, but you know, when the linebacker's doing this and the defensive end is doing this and the quarterback's doing that and it all works together, it's almost like fucking music. Like, you should not do something different. Like, you should continue to train the way that you were training, condition the way that you're conditioning, and playing the way that you're playing. And no matter really, I don't believe with a lot of the teams that you have, as long as you train people and you pick like people to go into those positions, you're probably going to continue to have a winning team. So really it says more about the coach, right? I think it's when the coach gets ego or pride or starts second guessing themselves that those teams start doing poorly or do worse than they did before. So really, we're our own worst enemies. Really, I think that we have to tap into that positive energy of what works for us. It's like, you know, like Beyonce's a good example of that. Like Beyonce and Taylor Swift, you know, people say they're the Illuminati. Well, I don't buy that they're the Illuminati. I mean, they have just tapped into a format of success that they continue just to bump out and bump out and bump out. And they continue to grow because of it, because people love them. So Beyonce could probably just do anything at this point and people would love her, you know? But you have to find out what you're good at, too. It's like not everybody can sing like Beyonce. You know, she can sing, so, you know, she can do what she wants to do. But, like, what if your thing is being, you know, the host at Walmart? Then be the best host that you can possibly be at Walmart. If you're a waitress, then be the best possible fucking waitress that you can be. And you know what? Sooner or later, people will be coming in there and be like, oh, my God, she is the best waitress in the entire world, you know? Or drag queen. If you're going to be a drag queen, be the best drag queen that you can be. Or, you know, if you're going to... I mean, I should apply this to my own self with, like, being a vlogger and all this kind of stuff. If I'm going to be a vlogger, be the best vlogger that I can possibly be. And what I believe is the best vlogger is being honest and being, you know, showing you parts of my life and giving you what you want, which brings to point, I want to say, I meant to ask this earlier, but I'm going to ask it as I kind of tie this up at the end. What would you guys like to see in the vlog more? I know there's a lot of you just enjoy the driving around talking, but are there things that you would like to see more of? Let me know. Like, my life is not so exciting that if I showed you every minute of the day, but I think that you guys would love it. But if you really want me to just to do a day where I like really literally show you 2-minute clips of my entire day, I can do that. I know a lot of people ask for like morning rituals. It kind of depends on the morning, because a lot of mornings I just don't even want to have a ritual, you know? I roll out of bed and throw on a sweatshirt and a hat and I'm ready for the day, and then I take a shower before I go to bed a lot of nights. Do you guys do that? I used to never do that. Or I would take 2 showers a day. One in the morning to like wake up and feel good. Like Alex has that hair that like he can take a shower the night before and the next day it like looks great. Like I can't do that. Like I have to like, if I take, look at my hair. Like seriously though. So if I'm gonna like have my hair look nice and not wear a hat, I have to take a shower. Gas is $2.10 there, and I paid $2.09. New strawberry shortcake. God, that sounds good. We have a strawberry festival in Indianapolis. I wonder when it is. God, I'm so random, aren't I? I'm so weird. Anyway, here's the street cleaner, just coming right on out, cleaning the street. Don't worry about me. One of the things that I have learned about vlogging is how much I love to drive in silence. I think it's very peaceful. But late at night, like when I'm talking about all these ghost stories, I get very spooked. So I don't drive in silence a lot because I get kind of spooked out. Anyway. So let me know in the comment section below what you guys would like to see, or if there are topics you'd like me to talk about, because one of the things I love about the car vlogs is that I can just talk at length about things. So if there are things that you guys would like me to talk about, or experiences, or family, or whatever, I'll talk about anything, you know that. So let me know. All right, you guys, I love you, and make the most of your life. Remember, we're on borrowed time as it is. Good night.